Değerli ARCHICAD ailesi, hepiniz canlı yayınımıza hoş geldiniz. 5 yıldır sizlerle beraber gerçekleştirmiş olduğumuz lansmanlarımıza sizlere ağırlıyor olduk biliyorsunuz. Farklı lokasyonlarda, İzmir, İstanbul, Ankara gibi. Bu yıl pandemi sebebiyle bizler iş yerlerinize, ofislerinize veya evlerinize şu anda sizlere misafir oluyoruz. Öncelikle şu an sizlerle beraber olmaktan gayet mutluyuz. Birçoğunuzla tanışıyoruz. Tanışmadıklarımız için Hakan Özilmaz, BIMSOFT'un genel müdürüyüm. Benle beraber bugün yanımda yayında İnge Yaman, bir uzmanımız bizlerle beraber olacak. Yakın zamanda takip ettiğiniz üzere pandemi süreci boyunca sizlere daha fazla destek olabilmek adına çok fazlasıyla webinarlar, canlı içerikler, bunun haricinde birçok online içeriği sizler için kullanılabilir hale getirdik. Yine pandemi döneminin getirileriyle beraber ARCHICAD 24'ün tanıtım lansmanını da online olarak yapmayı tercih ettik. Bu süre içerisinde yine beraberce yapmaya çalıştığımız Insta Talks görüşmelerimiz oldu. Instagram üzerinden canlı yayınlarımız oldu. Sektöre yön veren sektör profesyonelleriyle beraber. Süreci en iyi şekilde, sizler için en katma değerli şekilde geçmesini sağlamak adına bu yayınlarımız yine devam ediyor olacak. Bugün daha çok sizlere ARCHICAD 24 üzerine paylaşımlarda bulunacağız lansmanımızda. Önceki yıllarda lansmanlarımıza sizlerin de bildiği üzere GRAPHISOFT'tan sürekli olarak misafirlerimiz katılıyordu. İstanbul'da, İzmir'de ve Bursa'da, tabii Ankara'da yine aynı şekilde bizlerle beraber oluyorlardı. Bu yıl lansmanımızı dediğim gibi online yapıyor olmamıza rağmen yine GRAPHISOFT'tan misafirlerimiz var. Biz de ana konseptimizi değiştirmeyi arzu etmedik. Sözü onlara bırakmadan önce ekibim ve ben sizler için oldukça iyi bir içerik hazırlamaya çalıştık. Umarım keyifle izliyor olursunuz. Hepinize şimdiden tekrar hoş geldiniz diyorum ve iyi seyirler diliyorum. İnge?
Merhabalar, ben İnge Yaman. BIMSOFT'ta BIM uzmanı olarak görev yapıyorum. Hakan Bey'in de belirttiği gibi bu sene bir araya gelemedik. Ancak online platformlar sayesinde daha geniş kitlelere ulaşma şansımız oldu aslında. GRAPHISOFT'un dünya genelindeki etkinliğini izleyenler varsa, Building Together etkinliği, bu sene ARCHICAD'in çok ciddi yeniliklerle geldiğini görmüştür. Mühendislerle entegre çalışma sistemleri, aynı zamanda mimari proje süreçlerini hızlandıracak yepyeni çözümlerle geliyoruz bu dönemde. Bunları anlatacağız yayın süresince. Umarım keyifli bir yayın olur hepimiz için.
Teşekkürler İmge. Öncelikle 2 videoyla başlıyor olacağız. GRAPHISOFT'un Türkiye'yi gayet iyi tanıyan 2 uzmanı diyeyim. Toke Lazlo ve Matyas Ferenc bizlerle birlikte olacaklar. Sizlere mesajları var. Videoları izlemeye başlayalım isterseniz. Arkasından yine beraber olacağız.
Bayanlar ve baylar, sevgili Türk dostlar, ladies and gentlemen, dear Turkish friends, it's my pleasure to be one of the speakers at the first digital ARCHICAD 24 kickoff conference in Turkey, organized for our Turkish user community by our distributor, BIMSOFT. Let me introduce myself to you. I am Ferenc Mátyás. My friends call me Feri. I started my professional career as an elementary school teacher. Then I switched to IT hardware and software, wholesale distribution. Besides sales, I gained some experience in B2B consulting, system integration and CRM implementations. I worked for GRAPHISOFT for more than 8 years, started as an international sales manager. For more than 3 years, I had been responsible for business development in Turkey. I remember these days as one of the most exciting and inspiring chapters of my career. You may think that the fascinating atmosphere of Istanbul, the splendid beaches of the Turkish Riviera, the delicious Mediterranean food, especially baklava and kebab, the things I remember. Despite all the treasures of your beautiful country, I've got something else to remember and talk about today. This thing is partnership. We have never had as many relationships as we have today. We can have thousands of friends and followers on social media platforms. We can receive hundreds of birthday wishes from people we have never met or have never seen before. We can run and manage our business remotely. We can make sales and business transactions without meeting and knowing each other, using the latest web technologies and applications like web shops. Still, none of these relationships gives that power which a great partnership can do. A partnership means that we can trust each other, we depend on one another, and we are working together for shared goals. These are the fundamental values besides their super strong Turkish coffee they serve in their office, that we found in BIMSOFT, and this is why we work together with them since we met the first time 5 years ago. I can recall the very first meeting. Arriving at their office, the colleagues of BIMSOFT invited us to their kitchen space, offering us some coffee. We smoked some cigarettes and talked. That was the time when I learned the 3 times 20 minutes rule. Do you know what it is? Well, it means that every day they get early in their office, have a coffee, have some cigarettes and start talking 3 times 20 minutes each about the most important things in life. 20 minutes about politics, 20 minutes about family, and 20 minutes about football. Besides this 3 times 20 minutes talk, there were some other significant factors why we decided to appoint BIMSOFT to our Turkish partner. We at GRAPHISOFT consider a distributor partner or stretched arm towards distant markets. I mean that the presence and the activity of the partner should be as good, as professional, as extensive as it was done by ourselves. We never look for commercial agents who bring us just big sales numbers. Yes, of course, numbers are crucial in business. Still, we are looking for something else, something more. Our goal, as stated in our mission statement, is to empower teams to create great architecture. Keeping it simple. Making a deal with a sales agent will make you poorer after the deal. Buying from an agent, you will have less money left in your pocket. And also, in the long run, you would experience that you bought nothing but just a bunch of problems. An agent would never be interested in your business success, how to solve your problems, how to find new opportunities for your company. No. An agent will take your money and run away. But making a deal with a trusted advisor partner, you will be more abundant. You will possess not only a software license, but also the knowledge of how to use it. You will have a clear vision on how to enter new markets, how to complete your job faster, delivering significantly higher quality. Buying from a trusted source is just the beginning of your journey, not the end of the road, because your partner is interested in your success. The empowerment is consulting, finding and proposing the best and most tailored solution for a customer, fixing a painful problem, or exploring new paths and business opportunities for them. Empowerment also means continuous access to global resources, technical support, for instance. This is our intention when we choose a partner. All partners should cover a geographic area and ensure that every single user in that area receives the same level of support and service. Our partners should sell our solutions, but they do not mean their skills how to close a deal. Anyone can pronounce the magic spell indirim. I mean, the skills of understanding a customer, identifying a problem, uncover a business opportunity and showing the way how to achieve that particular goal is even more important than just close a given sales case. Last but not least, a GRAPHISOFT partner should be able to invest and reinvest to their business, walking the extra mile to do tomorrow even better what they did yesterday. You may ask, how comes this relevant to me? Why should I be interested how GRAPHISOFT selects their partners? Well, according to a 2017 survey from the PMI, Project Management Institute, 14% of IT projects fail. However, that number only represents the total failures. Of the projects that didn't fail outright, 31% didn't meet their goals, 43% exceeded their initial budgets, and 49% were late. Analyzing the reasons why projects fail, we find that software do not make a project fail nor succeed. The reason is always in the implementation process, or the project management, as you like. The clear definition of project goals, allocation of the necessary resources, training and know-how transfer. To make your BIM implementation successful, you need an implementer partner who will guide you through the process, provide management support to your implementation. This partner should understand your business, your everyday routine, your problems, and implement BIM in a way that will develop your business, ease and speed up your everyday routines, resolve your problems. Neither a commercial agent nor a web shop will take care about your success. how you implement your business software. You need a partner, someone you can talk to, you can turn to with your questions and problems, someone who speaks the same professional language as you do. I'm talking about partnership because I consider partnership the key element of a successful BIM implementation project, and I'm very happy to have such a capable partner in charge of the Graphisoft business like BIMSOFT. Being responsible for the Turkish market, I had many opportunities to meet great people, fantastic architects, professional builders, and admirable businesswomen and businessmen. It makes me very happy that most of those people I could establish not only a professional business relationship, but strong friendships too. Following the years I spent in the international partner management, I moved to Italy to lead our subsidiary in Venice. I'm very proud of this period because besides the Italian team doubled the invoice sales of the company in 4 years, our channel partner share in our business has tripled. From January 2020, I'm back to the headquarters in Budapest, Magyaristan, starting a fascinating chapter of the life of Graphisoft on the field I love the most, and this is partner business. I'm pleased about being responsible again for the Turkish market, supporting one of my favorite partners and one of the best Graphisoft partners, BIMSOFT. I trust that all of you will find them a reliable, accountable, and professional partner, just like as I do. Besides their partnership, I recommend you their friendship with all my heart. Çok teşekkür ederim.
Merhaba, ben Laszlo Töke, Graphisoft Uluslararası Satış Müdürü. Thank you for joining the ARCHICAD 24 release event this year. This is an online event, unfortunately, because of the virus. We cannot travel to Turkey from here, from our headquarters in Budapest, and you cannot sit in a conference room either. So this is the form we can use this time. You probably recognize my face and my spiky hair from Turkey. I've been there a couple of times, and I'm responsible for a Turkish business development. We do it together with BIMSOFT. BIMSOFT is our distributor, as you are aware, and they are the partner providing the support and all the access to our services and products in Turkey. We are very happy with BIMSOFT, and we believe that they are giving the right support and right level of expertise on the market. So this is a new technology, new product what we are bringing this year. With the integrated design approach, we give you the chance to work much closer to engineering colleagues to make an even greater architecture and better products, better buildings in the world and in Turkey. Yeah, we know that somehow this is not the best time for you. So in Turkey, so you had very bad times in recent years, starting maybe with the terrorist attacks and the military coup, and then the financial crisis and another virus. It hits the market, it hits all of us. But I hope you can keep up your business, especially with the technology what we are providing to you on the teamwork solutions, how you can work together even while you cannot sit in the same office. You could get access to the emergency licenses, and we also provided this free BIM Cloud services for you at the beginning of the pandemic. So I hope you have a good time, but still, if you have anything where you need some help, I encourage you to get in contact with us. Probably through BIMSOFT is the best way, but also directly if you want. We can help you getting a new workstation, a new license, even if maybe you are a little short on money. So we will find a way how to support you. You can rent software, you can have a financial solution to buy a perpetual license. So there are many ways, and there are ways to work while it's not easy. Maybe if you are a new architect or newly want to join to the ARCHICAD community, or you're a student starting a new business or planning to start a new business, but there's not enough money to buy the tools, also encourage you to get in contact with BIMSOFT. We will find a way. There's always a way. So that cannot be the showstopper. I hope you brought your engineer. I hope you also brought one of your friends. And I hope there's a lot of people now and you not watching this video alone. Thank you for joining. Sit back, relax, listen to the colleagues, listen to the technology. Thank you very much. Görüşürüz.
Evet, Ferenc ve Laszlo'yu dinledik. Şimdi heyecanla beklediğiniz ARCHICAD 24 yeniliklerine geçiyoruz. 2 videomuz olacak. Yaklaşık 30-35 dakika şeklinde ilerleyecek. Ve arada 5 dakikalık bir kahve molamız olacak. Videolarda kaçırdığınız kısımlar olabilir. Hem yenilik videoları hem de lansmanın tamamı daha sonra yayınlanacak. Bilginiz olsun. Şimdi ARCHICAD yeniliklerine birlikte bakabiliriz.
Welcome everyone, I'm Gemma.
And I'm Pelin. We'll be your guides for the next 30 minutes and we'll show you what's new in 2020 in ARCHICAD, BIM Cloud and BIMX.
2020, what a year so far. With several local and global challenges that have triggered changes in everybody's life, let us show you something interesting. Let me introduce to you ARCHICAD 24.
Architects face some long-standing and some new challenges today. In our ever-changing working environments, we must react to those challenges fast. We must be able to manage our new workloads and our new teams both effectively and productively. Today, we will demonstrate ARCHICAD 24's new powerful and intuitive solutions in 5 key areas, and these are change management in design, project management in collaboration, integrated structural analysis workflows in analysis, engaging client presentations in visualization, and increased productivity by automation in documentation. Let's start with our first key area, design. With multiple stakeholders in every project, the job of following, understanding, and adapting ongoing design changes is a significant task, since uncontrolled changes can cause design errors and cost time, energy, and money. Don't we all wish for faster and more informed design decisions and, of course, manage those design changes easily? I can all hear you shouting, yes. Well, finally, that day has come.
How do you appropriately document in 2D? How do you appropriately document an evolving 3D model? And so I think that's where ARCHICAD has become a very sharp tool for us. So for example, we've got this home in Mammoth here, and let's say our client wants us to simulate what the home is going to look like if it's got divided lights, if it's got steel mullions, as John just changed here. How do we then update all of our elevations and all of our sheets? I think the good news, and many who use ARCHICAD already know and love this, is that it's just a click of a button away. Any change that we make into that 3D model, of course, is updated here on our elevations and is updated on all of our sheets as well.
ARCHICAD 24's new Model Compare feature allows you to manage client change requests with interlinked issue management feature and make faster and easy design decisions. A typical current workflow for design changes or options is that I might need to keep separate ARCHICAD models for each variation. But with ARCHICAD's new Model Compare feature, I can now compare 2 3D models or versions or 2 different views within one file, visualize and filter the differences between them. The Model Compare process can be run simultaneously in the background, even if it's a large and complex project, while I work uninterrupted on my model. Let's look at an example here where a member of the design team makes some changes to the project file, and you, as the team leader, need to validate them. In addition to the element parameters and properties, ARCHICAD will superimpose the 3D geometry on top of each other, and using the visualization options, you can control the display of the changes within their environment. By selecting some of the changes on your change list, you can simply create some suggestions to be used in the issue management later on. Once you accept those suggestions, your ARCHICAD model will update instantly with those changes, and then you can decide whether to keep or delete the issue from the issue list. Every year, ARCHICAD delivers an enhanced and updated library content, saving you a great deal of time when modeling. With the new residential furniture library parts in ARCHICAD 24, you can bring your more enhanced and contemporary interiors to life. These objects are parametric, meaning you can change them easily on the fly and schedule and quantify with ease, boosting your productivity significantly and accelerating your project visual outcomes. You don't need to lose time by modeling furnishing elements manually from scratch, or money by purchasing expensive design libraries. Similar to the other library parts, within the element settings, you will find so many custom object settings from different 3D styles with different model view options to 2D parameters and properties. With new beds and nightstands, sofas, coffee tables, storage and media furniture, and decoration elements, you can now achieve a very sleek look in your visuals. With all the library resources now available to us, we can still sometimes run into issues. Take the manufacturer's objects, for example. Traditionally, you've been able to import content into ARCHICAD with great flexibility via 3ds, SketchUp, Rhino models, or in most cases, converted IFC files. But now you have one more option: importing Revit families. This option will allow you to access even more manufacturers' content natively without going through many conversion processes and tackling with 2D and 3D representation issues, as well as missing many product information.
Another good news: Paramo, a technology preview add-on, is now available for free with ARCHICAD 24 R1. This add-on allows the ARCHICAD users to easily create highly parametric GDL objects with a visual programming interface similar to those in Rhino Grasshopper without any GDL knowledge. The initial alpha version is available on Windows platform only, and you can find help and some sample scripts on a dedicated website. Here, you can see some typical examples in an architectural design workflow. These could be as simple as a furniture library part, or as complex as some variations or options for facade systems. You can start by using several basic shapes like blocks, spheres, cylinders, and many more, and then you can easily transform these shapes with Boolean options, mathematical and trigonometrical operations. You can also define the 2D attributes such as pens and surfaces for every created shape. The biggest advantage of using Paramo is that it doesn't require any single line of GDL code. Those who are familiar with Grasshopper can almost instantly start using it for creating parametric GDL elements of any type. Those who are new to visual scripting can also adopt this technology faster because it's visual with live previews and it's easy to learn. The resulting fully node-based parametric elements can be saved into your ARCHICAD library folder as parametric GDL objects, meaning whichever way you stretch them, they won't get distorted.
Built-in MEP design tools are now a core part of ARCHICAD without extra payment or a need for a separate license and installation. Specific MEP tools and related interface become available once you apply the MEP Engineering Work Environment profile. With the integration of the MEP Modeler, you can have access to native MEP modeling capabilities inside ARCHICAD. The imported MEP objects conversion through IFC has significantly improved, and full MEP opening workflow is also available for MEP elements. We will take a look at the following 4 workflows showing which areas architects can take advantage of the MEP modeler features. Architects can quickly model the major ducts and pipes during the early design phase. The early MEP model is a good reminder of the space requirements and also helps the design coordination by letting MEP engineers understand the architectural design intent. The MEP modeler also helps the work of architects when only 2D drawings are available. You can use the imported 2D DWG as trace reference and quickly model, for example, ductwork. It's a perfect tool to model pre-designed MEP drawings. There are building designs where the goal is to have the ducts being an integral part of the interior design. In such cases, there's often no time to wait for the final MEP models from the engineers, so the architects themselves model the MEP runs for visualization. Finally, let's see a typical example of how the MEP modeler supports the IFC-based OpenBIM workflow concept. During hot linking the IFC file into my ARCHICAD model, I can decide on whether the MEP elements convert to GDL objects or native MEP equipment or morphs for distribution elements. In this case, most of the original elements will be converted into editable elements. Then I can run collision detection between load-bearing structures and major ducts and pipes to find the unwanted clashes. After that, I can select the MEP system or pipes and ducts to create desired openings in walls. All openings can be created with a simple click for individual ducts or merge nearby openings for smaller pipes next to each other. These openings can be further optimized with the MEP systems and then shared with the structural engineer.
Collaboration is an essential part of every architect's project, stretching from close teamwork of a design team to coordinating with our external consultants teams. ARCHICAD 24 introduces greatly improved teamwork workflows, including Smart BIM change tracking, which enables true co-design, so you no longer work side by side, but you work together as a team. Internal and external to our office, teamwork is essential to stay connected. With ARCHICAD 24 and BIM Cloud, you can easily follow the evolution of your project. The previously shown Model Compare feature lets you see what your colleagues have been working on when you receive the changes in your teamwork project. You can be notified when elements change in the project, you can create your own changes, and you can now track changes in real time. One constant task of the lead architect is to make sure that errors, problems, and issues found during the design process are all handled and fixed fast. The number of issues can be quite large, and keeping track of them is always a challenge for me. ARCHICAD now offers features that help create and track issues automatically. Issue management will also work in conjunction with other ARCHICAD features. We can create issues from selected elements, from the results of a collision detection or a physical model check, and from the results of our new Model Compare. Let's look at this as an example. Here we have a steel structure, and I believe the framework should sit closer together, so I need to bring the issue to the attention of my lead architect. Simply select the elements in the plan or the 3D and create a new issue. In the Issue Manager dialog box, I can now manage these individual issues. If I create a new issue, then it will automatically display this dialog box, and the selected elements of the highlighted issue are now shown in blue. We can save multiple named views for each issue, and by double-clicking any of the saved views, it will restore that view in the current workflow. I can also add comments to highlight the issue and give possible solutions to my colleagues. ARCHICAD will store all the details of the issues and provide me with a full history of who has done what. When associating elements with issues, you can highlight elements, I can add suggestions such as the creation of new elements, modification of elements, and the deletion of elements. And when we look at the teamwork projects, the issues can be assigned, and in this example, instead of highlighting the structure, I can just suggest a solution. These suggestions only exist in my local copy and will need to be accepted by my colleague in order to become part of the project. My colleague will receive a notification for them to review, and if they believe all are okay, they can accept my suggestions. The organizer will list all the issues providing all the relevant data, the status, the priority, and the owner. I can double-click any issue to view the issue in the manager. I can sort the issue on these data fields as well. The issue organizer is a robust solution, and it will enable me to organize, sort, and track thousands of issues which may happen during my design process. As a design manager, it's hard for me to keep track, manage, and synchronize the design work and the communication coming from different disciplines.
Well, first of all, the workflows are disconnected. Information created by the designers are not necessarily useful for contractors. They have to repeat. And then also that information have to be repeated for that it could be used by facilities managers. So that disconnected process is very inefficient. It's subject to a lot of loss in translation, and it does not also capture information in a very efficient way.
Using the conventional solutions is almost impossible for me to coordinate the different platforms handling dozens of different software file formats. ARCHICAD 24 now offers me the enhanced BIM Cloud, which is an open BIM platform to support all of this collaboration. BIM Cloud can now host multiple file formats coming from the client and/or other BIM applications that are relevant to my project. Access can be given to all non-ARCHICAD users, external disciplines, clients, and even people from the construction site. BIM Cloud can publish any set of 2D or 3D deliverables from ARCHICAD directly to the BIM Cloud. For example, the ARCHICAD Publisher window, the lead architect can publish directly to the BIM Cloud. All items of the publisher set are then uploaded and they become instantly accessible. They can be accessed by any user with the correct permissions. As a member of the team, I can manage all the hotlink modules. For examples, you can place and update modules directly from BIM Cloud. I can also manage the DWGs and the PDFs. You can merge drawings too, and again, this is all done directly from the BIM Cloud. BIM Cloud will also maintain a versioned project history, which will allow me to roll back or download any earlier version of the file. BIM Cloud has become a model hub for all disciplines in the design process. BIM Cloud enables us to host multiple file formats, and it gives a browser-based file management, which allows non-ARCHICAD users access, and for me the bonus of being able to customize any permissions with the added benefit of allowing me to manage all files and drawings directly from the BIM Cloud. We would like to take over the difficulties of installing and operating an on-premise BIM server BIM Cloud by running it centrally here. The service is operated by the engineers at GRAPHISOFT. With the new development in both ARCHICAD and BIM Cloud, we now provide the long-awaited breakthrough towards real interactive collaboration amongst multidisciplinary teams. To provide the best and most optimal possible design for the client, we realise that the architects and the engineers must be aligned to work closely together.
Being an ARCHICAD has revolutionized the way that we as a structural engineering firm and even myself as a structural engineer approach a problem and approach a building from an overall perspective. I'm able to be in the model, see the model, and be working in the same 3D model as the architect at the same level that they are.
To achieve this, we have integrated the structural analytical model into ARCHICAD and support the bi-directional workflow with best-in-class analysis applications. Let's take a look how. To help progress the design process, ARCHICAD now introduces a new workflow based on the fully automatic BIM integrated analytical model. Structural engineers can focus on engineering instead of remodeling in the analysis application by using the same model as the architect. They will be able to understand the building context more and better communicate their point of view. The analytical model is automatically created for the load-bearing slab, wall, column beam, and single-plane roof elements. The Structural Analytical Model, or SAM for short, is created with just one click. Before exporting the Structural Analytical Model, there are a few steps the design teams need to follow, such as we need to verify load-bearing classifications. We then need to check the quality of our physical model, and we need to fix any modelling errors, which could affect the SAM. Set the check-in rules to easily find issues in the report, such as a lack of core connections or overlapping elements. Engineers can then set global rules for members of the entire 3D structural model. Modify the existing rules, create new ones, or import a suitable XML-based rule set. Run the Structural Analytical Model quality check to find continuity and other problems amongst the 1D and the 2D members easily. We can also improve the analytical model for perfect outcomes with the following steps. We can set the end edge release to control the behaviours of connected analytical members. For example, with custom stiffness values by components or by direction. We can use the hole filtering to control the openings. You can, for example, ignore small openings or set minimum allowed thicknesses to remove thinner 2D member parts. We can place structural supports under unsupported elements. And these supports can be placed not just under columns, but under the slabs and the walls as well. We can use structural links and provide links between analytical members without physical adjustments. Use 1D links, for example, to connect complicated details, such as precast element connections. The surface links are especially useful for precast panels, which have been modelled with the beam tool.
Here, with the new workflow provided with ARCHICAD 24, we will need to be putting our structural information, even if preliminary, into the ARCHICAD model earlier, so that we can generate our 3D analytical model within ARCHICAD. So we'll be placing beams and columns and foundations preliminary, even if they necessarily haven't been designed yet or really thought through to a level that they need to. We will be placing those in the ARCHICAD model for everyone to see.
It's always nice for you as the designer and for the client to see some visuals coming together. After all, we all think and design in 3D. So let's learn how we can easily and quickly create compelling visualizations and use them in engaging client presentations in ARCHICAD 24. Twinmotion 2020, a real-time 3D immersion software by Epic Games, is available free of charge for ARCHICAD 24 users who are on SSA. This is a fantastic visualization and communication tool to explain the design intent and deliver extra value to the client, providing them an immersive way of exploring the design, therefore getting a higher client satisfaction in return. Now let's see what is new in Twinmotion 2020. Right out of the box, you will notice a higher quality look to your scenes, thanks to an entirely enhanced lighting and shadowing system. For exterior scenes, there's a new physically based atmospheric sun and sky which offers more realistic seasons. When it comes to vegetation, each tree comes in 3 different ages and 4 seasons, and they look more realistic than before. With the new growth slider, it is easy to show how a project will look at delivery a few years later and with its full maturity. There's also a new scattering tool, more customization options for grass, and improvements to the painting system. You can also add atmosphere to your scenes with fog, mist, dust, and smoke. The people have gotten better too. The 3D animated characters are all new with photoscan character assets. On the materials front, Twinmotion comes with the ability to add video as a material, perfect for simulating TV screens and flickering fires, and a new X-ray material for viewing embedded objects such as vents and plumbings. When it comes to providing feedback, the new Node tool will capture the information in context. These can be exported as BCF format and loaded into your ARCHICAD file later on.
The BIMX solution has enabled our designs to break free of the confines of the desktop and even of the studio itself. Now we're able to have the entire rich 3D model literally in our pockets, which is fun. We put it on the iPad Pro, we could take it to all of our construction sites, we can upload it to a cloud, our entire coordination team can download that. These are folks who can engage our design, structural engineers, expediters, general contractors, even real estate salespeople. It enables them to engage the design in a much more visually rich way, in ways where they wouldn't have read plans before, they wouldn't have unrolled our giant drawings before, we would have had the email attachments of a rendering, but now they have any angle, any view at their fingertips.
And great news! We have some significant improvements on the BIMX application. Thanks to the advanced data streaming technology, there's no limit on the size of the projects anymore. Faster startup opens the model in no time. That means you can have millions of polygons and thousands of BIM elements in your model, and you will still be able to navigate smoothly. You can get photorealistic views with real-time lighting calculations, and finally, the Smart Measure feature is now available on the app for free. As an SSA user, with one click you can directly publish your models through the publisher to the 5 GB private storage you have been provided for free via BIMX transfer site. When logged into your account, you can easily visualize your model in BIMX Web Viewer. This web version is very similar to the BIMX app, and now the desktop version, meaning you not only get to walk around your 3D environment, but also view your 2D documentation. A link then can be sent to the client to create a better and faster design communication. Let's not forget about the BIMX desktop, which is still useful for when the client doesn't have any internet access. Here are some improvements on it. You get to see the same hypermodel viewer with the same feature sets in BIMX Web Viewer on both Windows and Mac. That means we will both see the 3D model and 2D documentation with hyperlinks between them. Probably everyone's favorite, the pre-baked global illumination feature, which used to take ages to generate when publishing BIMX files, is now substituted with a real-time ambient occlusion visual effect. And finally, BIMX Desktop now supports 3D connection navigation devices, also known as 3D mouse, 3D motion controllers, as well as Xbox gaming controllers. As our designs constantly change, so do our documentations, meaning we still need to manage our documentation sets and adjust the data displayed on them. But how can we do this in a more efficient and organized way? With JSON and Python scripts, property option set exports to Excel, and new polyline editing functions, we can now easily document, collaborate, and detail. Let's see what these solutions offer in detail in ARCHICAD 24. By using JSON and Python scripts in ARCHICAD, you can manage your documentation and improve your productivity with the automations in no time. This means there will be less documentation issues in the office and less inconsistencies in deliverables. You can even introduce this as a standardized workflow so that as an architect, you can focus on the design itself and let the computer do, let's say, the less interesting tasks. You can find some sample scripts on our dedicated website and experiment with them in ARCHICAD 24. Let's take a look at this example. Here we have an auditorium in which we have a certain number of seats. And probably I've either dragged multiple copies or multiplied them. So in the end, we have ended up with the same element IDs for every single chair. By using a simple Python script, I can easily renumber those elements without going into the element settings individually, or using the element ID manager, which saves me from a laborious job. By using the Python palette, I can run my script with one single button and see the changes instantly throughout the model. Here is another example of an office room data sheet run by another script. With this, I can easily save out any information required about the room, such as the room name, room ID, department, functions, areas, furniture information, and many more into Excel, which can later on be saved as a PDF document and sent to the corresponding stakeholders. Since the data is coming straight from ARCHICAD, any changes to the room will be automatically updated on those sheets by rerunning the script. Using these scripts natively in ARCHICAD allows you to be in more control over the project and less dependent on any other third-party software. We can see one final example about checking how organized we have kept our navigator during the modeling process in ARCHICAD. When working on a large-scale project with a large amount of users, keeping track of the view map and the layout sheets could be exhausting. By running another Python script, you can let ARCHICAD create a separate folder in your view map in which you can find all the unused views, meaning the views that haven't been placed on a layout sheet or used in a publisher set, so you can then decide on whether to keep them or not. When it comes to communicating with the consultants, I need to make sure that I change my model into something that makes it easier for them to understand so that they don't get swamped in all the details and the information in my model. I can create some option set values in ARCHICAD, such as wall types in this example, and then export these to Excel to give to the consultants as pull-down menus. Each consultant can either choose from those option sets or fill in the extra information needed within the empty property fields and send it back to me for evaluation. After the import process, all the changes in Excel will also appear in my ARCHICAD model. With the new polyline editing options, I can further embellish my details that I have left quite generic previously, as not to create too many polygons and affect the performance of my model. This will be very useful for the elements I need to show in great detail in the construction documentation stage. I can now intersect either two or more independent polylines, or a polyline and a wall, beam, line, or arc, which used to be a problem because the intersect command didn't work at all with the polyline tool. I can also use the fillet and chamfer command for the corners of those polylines.
If only you knew the power of the dark side. Let me introduce to you the new dark mode feature in ARCHICAD 24. Dark mode is now a supported feature in Mac OS Mojave, and it allows Mac users to switch to a completely different, darker interface. From ARCHICAD, you can go to the Options menu, Work Environments, More Options, and enable the system appearance. Once the system appearance has been set, from the Mac System Preferences, select General and opt for the dark mode appearance. The background of your screen will now update. It is not only the user interface colours, but ARCHICAD icons are too being optimised for this dark mode. To further enhance this dark mode, in the Workspace area, select the View menu, Grids and Backgrounds, and change the background to a dark grey or black colour. Once the background has been set, you can create and apply a graphical override, so the model and the drawings adapt and appear so much more clearly in this dark environment. But who and when should we use dark mode? Dark mode is not only trendy, but certain light conditions it can reduce eye strain. Architects sometimes tend to work overnight, and for them it can be a good idea to switch to dark mode to reduce the eye stress caused by the bright displays at night. Dark mode can also improve visibility for users with low vision and those who are sensitive to bright light. Don't forget the extras we have added into the release of ARCHICAD 24. ARCHICAD 24 supports importing the latest version of the DGN file format V8. Elements introduced into the V8 version are also translated into ARCHICAD elements. The 3D elements can be transformed into 2D elements only. The import can be configured to tailor the translation methods based on every user's needs. IFC structural analysis model import and export has also been developed. On Open, elements of the incoming model are converted automatically, and on Save, you can choose to export the entire model or just the visible elements. We now offer support for the latest BCF 2.1 format, with the biggest advantage being the element visibility. We can now manage this within the BCF, and we can include multiple viewpoints for better communication. The opening tool has been developed to allow for joint openings from pipes and ducts, aiding collaboration with other disciplines. And to finish, we have added enhancements to the MEP modeler, such as a predefined pipe sizes and a visible routing palette with connection improvements. Download and try ARCHICAD 24 today from the GRAPHISOFT website. And please make use of all the available help to you and your clients from the Help Centre, the YouTube ARCHICAD channel, and the learn.graphisoft.com website.
This brings us to the end of this presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, we're more than happy to answer them.
Peki, ARCHICAD 24 yeniliklerini Pelin ve Cemma'dan beraberce dinledik. Aslında devam edeceğiz ama öncelikle hepimizin biraz tazelenmeye ihtiyacı var diye düşünüyorum. 5 dakika kadar bir aramız olacak. Aradan sonra yine sizlerle birlikte olacağız. Bir ufak hatırlatmada bulunmak istiyorum. Yarışma ve çekiliş yayının sonunda gerçekleşecek. Tekrar bir altını çizmiş olalım. 5 dakika sonra yine beraber olacağız.
Hoş geldiniz tekrar. Umarım kahve molası iyi geçmiştir. Şimdiki videomuz entegre tasarım sistemleri ile ilgili olacak. İzlerken sohbet bölümünden yorumlarınızı yazabilirsiniz. Keyifli seyirler diliyorum.
Hello one and all, and welcome to the Integrated Design Demo. Thank you for tuning into this presentation. I'm Galeb Kadra, an architect by profession and a BIM expert in GRAPHISOFT's Customer Success Department. Now, in this presentation, we're about to introduce you to an entirely new concept of collaboration between architects and engineers. Now, I'm sure you probably heard from yesterday's keynotes what to expect, but don't drop your guard just yet. We've got a collection of surprises within that we're confident they'll knock you off your feet. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So a new concept of collaboration between architects and engineers. That's a thought-provoking statement, if I may say so myself. But hold on, why do we need a new concept anyway? You might be wondering. Well, clearly the methods we use nowadays work. If they didn't, none of the projects would be realized in the end, right? Well, yes, but that's just one side of the coin. Perhaps the right question here would be, how do these methods enable you to work efficiently? Or in other words, are these methods really the most optimal ones for you and your business as a whole? Here's the kick. We know that the industry, or better put, the entire market, is constantly in motion. It's always progressing, it's always innovating, and it's always demanding. Perhaps one thing we can all unanimously agree on is that you either keep up with the market or you're out. It's game over. Everyone and everything is demanding higher quality nowadays. And not only that, but requiring it in a much shorter amount of time. Just look a few years back. Remember how 2D CAD was the thing? Soon after, the demand for a better method prevailed, so came BIM and reference model workflow. That became the new thing. And while it was a huge step forward in the industry, and it gave collaboration between design disciplines a considerable boost, it's still far from ideal. We still struggle with many things. Disciplines are still working separately, and the cherry on top, they're working on outdated files. That's not true collaboration, at least not the way we envision it. I can keep going on and on about this, but why not hear it directly from the market pioneers themselves?
When I hear most architects talk about their collaboration with their consultants, it usually falls into the realm of a little bit of complaining. It certainly isn't a fondness of looking forward to work with this team again.
As we see it, it is that as architects and engineers, we are working very traditional in our ways of working and our ways of thinking of other professions in the AEC industry. I, as an architect, has to see my colleague, my engineer, as a friend and not my enemy who wants to destroy all my fantastic visions. If architects and engineers only are working separately and as synchronous and only exchange information at scheduled points in the time of the project, there is, I think, a danger of lots of misunderstandings. I think also it's time consuming and the project is not totally aligned, and I think that is it's a very ineffective way to collaborate.
Traditionally, an architect does a design, that bulk of information lands on the structural engineer's desk, they take a stab at it, and most of it is right, but some of it is wrong. And then you have to go back and forth in kind of the slow motion conversation.
Architects do change a lot, and probably more than what you might see in a more standard workflow where a change involves saving out new backgrounds and saving out new drawings to send to the consultant. When the change is just as simple as send and receive, and then to send me an email that says, hey, I made this change, hit send and receive, we've seen over the years how much architects take advantage of that simplification. So from a business standpoint, we early on had to develop a process to get the information that we need to the architect soon, to the level that they need to understand it. We need to get that in there so that they can see it and start developing their architectural model based off the structural information that we're providing.
And communication, is obviously a really big deal because it's if you're not constantly talking back and forth, communicating, you don't have to talk, but we communicate through the project to be able to identify changes, revisions, ideas.
The biggest challenge I see facing the AEC today is an unwillingness of engineers and others to accept ownership of shared data. So often, as engineers specifically of any discipline, we don't want to touch the liability of saying I'm gonna take ownership of this. It's so easy to say it's the architect's layout and geometry and it's their problem. I will design a system of the general form of that system, but it's not my responsibility to take ownership and make sure it's exactly right. Speaking to our counterparts, they're stuck in that world of I'll have backgrounds over to you by the end of the week. Their timelines are stretched. They only have access to the sections that the architect provides them. They only have access to the information that the architect provides them. Yeah, the struggle comes down to trust and communication between the engineer and the architect and the other team members. In the reference model based system, how accurately are you going to trust your architect that they modeled that system? As a structural engineer, from my perspective, I don't have to worry about this workflow, but I know other people do. When I receive a reference model as a structural engineer, how accurately modeled is that architectural 3D model? And then from the next step, and then how accurately does my reference model as a structural engineer need to be? And that happens with 5 other consultants.
If you have ever dabbled with collaborative design, you can surely relate to what Anthony and Jake just talked about. But just imagine these different design disciplines coexisting harmoniously in a shared model, but still owning their design elements. Imagine that from day one and throughout the entire design process, both architects and engineers are working on the same live file. Yeah, the same real-time synchronized live file. Always having access to the latest information irrelevant to their location. Sounds great, right? Well, it is, and actually you don't even have to imagine. This is reality, and reality's name is integrated design. So what is integrated design? The integrated design solution is a multi-brand Nemetschek project, a project involving Graphisoft, SIA, and Riso. It is a more efficient, collaborative environment where architects and engineers are empowered by a disruptive technology to work as one team. It's a technology that enables them to achieve the shared mission of delivering a better building design. Last but not least, it aims at having the design team working on one shared model. This way, the entire team would always have the correct and up-to-date information, no matter where the members are located. How? Simple. Join us in the cloud. Thanks to BIM Cloud's newest enhancements, the collaboration between different participants is easier than ever. In this multidisciplinary model hub, you can store all project-related files. You can organize your entire design crew members into teams and grant them selective access to their corresponding data. In other words, it simulates the structure of a real-life project. And keeping track of all changes is super easy. Just subscribe to your relevant project data and get notified immediately about changes. All that can happen in the cloud, making it easily accessible to everyone in the design team. Let's jump straight into seeing all of this in action. Let's take this project as an example. So the project kicks off, and usually it starts with the creativity of the architect. But mind you, very soon, though, it needs to be validated by the structural engineer. So communication is required. With a simple push of a button, the architect can easily visualize the core of the load-bearing elements, as that's a great way to declutter any irrelevant information, since these are the elements the engineer is really interested in anyway. And thanks to the teamwork messaging functionality, just write a simple message and capture a view to provide a visual aid for the engineer and press send. That's it. All of that is done within the same software interface. The time of long calls and emails is over. The time of the cloud is here. So literally bring your engineer into the model for a flawless communication. Because together as one team and one model, you will deliver a better building design. Now with the engineer being in the same model using ARCHICAD, they'll get a notification immediately. And don't worry if the project at hand is large, just click on the captured view included with the message and quickly jump to the point of attention. Switching between the physical and analytical models is as easy as pressing a button, literally. All thanks to the intuitive user interface, which makes the tools and functionalities any engineer would need readily available. It doesn't stop there. You, the engineer, have full control over the adjustment rules. Your model can become fully continuous and ready for analysis according to the rules you set. You can create them from scratch or simply import your existing ones. You can set up your translator and map your materials and profiles the way you want. Forget about remodeling things from scratch and wasting valuable time. Just like that, your analytical model is ready for analysis in your preferred structural analysis tool. And no, it's not a reference model workflow, it's a bidirectional workflow based on one shared model. This bidirectional workflow between ARCHICAD and structural analysis software is now possible thanks to SAF and IFC SAV file formats. SAF is short for Structural Analysis Format. It's a brand new open source format developed by the Nemetschek Group. Now, within the Nemetschek Group, the seamless workflow is easily achievable between ARCHICAD and CEngineer. But not just that, also with Risa 3D and Freelo. But what about other software? No worries, we talk to them as well, because we strongly believe in the open BIM philosophy, and that being open is the key to success. That's why the open source formats also enable effective exchange of information between ARCHICAD and other world-recognized structural tools. So let's jump back into action and see how this happens with CEngineer, a best-in-class solution for structural engineers.
Hi, my name is Thibaut Gouzy. I'm a structural engineer and I've been working at SIA for 3 years, first as an account manager and now as integrated design project coordinator. Let's dive in the new workflow the integrated design solution is offering. The import process in CEngineer is really quick and easy, and it logically goes the same for SAF file. Within 10 seconds and just all done in a single step, you can get a full exploitable model. From here, in a snap, you can define loading preferences like load panels. And because you might need to replicate this process, intuitive operations as copy, paste, drag, move, and modify are also available. It goes the same for supports, which can be set in a wide range of options, including natural source, like shown here. And the engineer, of course, has the end on all the parameters and a total control on the program. Insertion is intuitive with keyboard shortcuts, right-click, dedicated command, or through the menu. Once all the necessary details are added, inserting loads is the next step. CEngineer allows to enter any type of loads in a very easy way, through load panels or directly on surfaces or linear elements. In just a few minutes, a structural analytical model generated in ARCHICAD is imported and completed in CEngineer. Hours become minutes, and engineers can focus on added value and interesting tasks. CEngineer offers the possibility to understand everything happening in the structure with a clear graphical representation, like 3D stress in the whole structure or only in selected elements. This internal reactions display, combined to the filtering options, makes it really easy to spot weak points or singularities and promptly take actions to correct them. And it goes exactly the same with deformations. Thanks to the powerful solver, CEngineer calculates and displays 3D deformations under any load case or load combination in a global displacement or in a specific direction. And as a bonus, you can see animated views of the results for a perfect understanding of the building's behavior. After just a few minutes of first assessments and verifications, the engineer can send back the model to the architect. The export workflow is as easy as the import one, and now the SAF files generated is enriched with all the new information as supports, loads, and load combinations.
So now back in ARCHICAD, You can easily import the SAF file and visualize the relevant design changes quickly. The model compare functionality enables you to select your local file and compare it, in this instance, with the analytical model your colleague just uploaded to BIM Cloud. Using the slider, you can quickly and graphically switch between models and even overlap them for a direct review of design options. If you need more detail, a comprehensive list of affected elements is at your disposal. Now, let's raise the architect's attention to these elements, which were just created back in SIA Engineer, because we want to get their immediate feedback. Simply select them and open an issue. Notice how these elements are automatically classified as new, so we don't need to worry about that. Add a customized view, a brief description, address the issue to the architect, and hit send. Being fully synchronized has never been this easy and quick. The architect can now immediately get notified about the new elements the structural engineer added with their comments. Even more so, the architect can see them in their correspondent position directly within the model. All that is needed at this point is to simply accept these changes, and the model will automatically update. With this way of working together, there's no doubt you'll collaborate better. After a few similar interactions, the design evolves, and now it's time for a full structural analysis. Following the same steps, you, the structural engineer, can prepare the analytical model for export. To be sure your structural analysis will run error-free, just run the new model checking functionality and get a detailed verification of the analytical model in no time. Overlap elements, for example, can easily be spotted and corrected before exporting the model, as shown here. Once done, we take the structural analytical model from ARCHICAD back to SIA for the full analysis.
The quality of the workflow makes it easy to exchange several times the project between ARCHICAD and SIA Engineer without losing time. All the information previously added is still here, ready to be used again for a step further in the design. To select specific elements has never been so easy thanks to the cross-section filter. Import structural details as buckling parameters are essential and require the knowledge and analysis of the structural engineer. The intuitive interface, allowing a total control on the parameters, sets the engineer in a perfect position to spend more time on the analysis and quickly implement what he found as the best representation of the reality, adding value to the project. The engineer reaches now one of the most important and exciting parts, the verification of the structure according to the norms and standards. Also here, you have full control on the checks, with the ability to run them for specific elements or for the entire building. Using an intuitive graphical representation, you can easily detect any weaknesses or oversized element at a glance. In specific situations, SIA Engineer even provides small notes to ease the analysis and the understanding. Enabling a deeper understanding of the results and to ensure absolute transparency in the calculations, SIA Engineer offers the possibility to get a detail of the calculations for every single element individually. Being provided the relevant standard articles and formulas, the engineer is able to cross-check the results and therefore to sustain his work in front of a control office. In order to get the most optimized design in the shortest time frame, SIA Engineer can propose optimal cross-sections for specific elements or group of elements. Once it is validated by the engineer, it replaces automatically the previous cross-section with the newly determined one. This automatic process enables a significant cost reductions in projects materials. Finally, it's time for documentation. Boring process? No. Thanks to the engineering report, this becomes quicker and dynamic. Using predefined templates depending on project types, the report can be generated in a few minutes. And if changes occur, just press refresh and all information will be updated instantly. The report is linked to the model itself, meaning that even small adjustments done will be updated in the documentation. And if the engineer has his habits on text documents for the final layout, it is of course possible to open it under Microsoft Word or to export it into PDF and 3D PDF.
Now that the full structural analysis and optimization are performed, the analytical model is sent back to ARCHICAD using SAF format again. This seamless bidirectional workflow ensures that you lose zero data, with all the cross-sections parameters and material properties recognized in and by both software. You can exchange information accurately between the two disciplines. Thanks to the transparency in the workflow, all team members can now confidently explore optimal design solutions as one team. The best part of it is that all of that can become part of the design documentation. Even the analysis reports obtained from SIA can be stored within BIM Cloud, making it accessible to all team members through a simple web browser. One building, one team, one model. That's our formula to empower you to deliver a better building design, since we genuinely believe that the power of one is the gateway to all success. Now, once again, we'd like to give the floor to the market pioneers who already tried and embraced this new concept of collaboration. They'll tell you all about how this improved their bottom line and how, well, I'll just let them take it from here.
It's definitely going to improve our business, it's going to improve our process, and I feel like it's going to save us time. So ultimately, it should help the bottom line as far as being able to get to the end result, which is being able to put out numbers, put out sizes, and get it back into the model as quickly as possible. You know, the way we used to do it, even though we probably did it more efficiently than other people, you still sometimes had to go from scratch and make a lot of modifications to the engineering model, where now we can do it earlier on, you know, with the technology that they're providing us. So ultimately, I feel like it's going to increase our profitability when it's all said and done. All of their technology allows us to truly stay ahead of the curve, stay ahead of other software. They're very responsive when we're trying to do something new. We have a request. They really try to see if they can make it work on their end. And I feel like it improves the bottom line. I feel like it improves our profitability because we're able to get our product out faster, better, and with more quality.
I want to align myself with the consultants and the teammates that are really future-oriented. The sooner we can bring in our key consultants, the more that we can leverage their collective knowledge and let that influence the design.
With ARCHICAD 24, that revolutionizes the way that we approach those analysis types of systems. Now we can adjust the structural elements in ARCHICAD, take them to our analysis software. So I've just cut out 30% of my design setup process just with the click of a button in ARCHICAD 24. Just the time saved from that nodally based finite element input is huge. From a global standpoint, from structural engineering to the minute details of what you might have to engineer, that advantage for us allows us to design more efficient systems more quickly and just leaves us with a better end product.
After you taste real-time BIM teamwork collaboration, it's really hard to go back to the old way of working through importing and exporting CAD files.
The workflow will change the way everybody sees things.
It does enable us, I would say, as architects to be a little bit more adventurous, a little bit more aggressive, knowing that if we've designed something that cannot be accomplished, we're not going to be insulted in front of our client. We're going to have a teammate who comes alongside us and helps us find ways to still accomplish the design intent. And so, yes, I do think it's a big advantage to have our structural engineer as part of the design team earlier on. And so I do think we are special. We're unique to have found collaborators that really inspire us, that make the workflow delightful. And the truth is, I'm looking forward to expanding that network. It can be a little bit of a scary thing to invite a consultant literally into the file that possesses all their creativity and all the precision of your 3D BIM model. That's, I'll call it a degree of intimacy that is unusual.
Yeah, we're spoiled. I can't imagine a process any other way. Now we're working in the same 3D model together. Our beams are their beams, their walls are our walls. We're working together, seeing the problems in real time and real 3D space together. It makes everything so much more clear and so much more quick and efficient. It allows us to solve problems in a fraction of the time than we would otherwise.
But with that connection, with that intimacy, comes the opportunity to forge an even greater relationship, a relationship based on trust and communication, where they need to respect the things that they're able to change, literally the layers that are theirs to change, and the things that they should not touch.
Do we have an advantage? Absolutely. There's really no comparison to the level of detail we can provide being in the model, being in the same model with the architect, putting our structure in there, because now not only are my eyes on it and my team, not only are we in there placing the structural elements, but the architect is in there seeing those model elements as well. And in some cases, the mechanical engineers in there seeing those elements, and the interior designer and the landscape architect, they're all in that model together with us. Someone is going to see if something is off.
Once you experience the live interaction between an architect and a structural engineer within the same live 3D model, it's so hard to work the old way.
As you well know by now, the current workflow between architects and structural engineers is suboptimal, and that's mainly due to the lack of continuous collaboration and information alignment. These factors lead to a lack of trust amongst disciplines and an asynchronous design by extension. But through a superior teamwork environment, architects and engineers can now work better together on a shared model hosted in a design hub, reducing management effort and moving the project forward with more accurate and timely decisions. We cordially invite you to visit the brand's websites so that you and your business can benefit from an increased productivity, less project delays, and higher competitiveness overall. Challenge the status quo, embrace this new paradigm, and be the first to provide to your customer a better building design. Thank you all for tuning in to this presentation. We sincerely hope you enjoyed it and found the content inspiring. So go ahead and try it, download it, contact us. Thanks, folks. Oh, and don't forget, bring your engineer.
Evet, videoları izlediniz. Birebir GRAPHISOFT'un ağzından gelen yenilikleri dinlemiş oldunuz. Şimdi ben hem küçük bir özet geçmek istiyorum, hem de Türkiye pazarında bu özellikler ne ifade ediyor, biraz onlara değinmek istiyorum. İlk başlığım entegre tasarım konusu. Özellikle son birkaç seneyi baz alacak olursak, tasarım araçlarında çok ciddi geliştirmeler oluyor biliyorsunuz. ARCHICAD ya da rakip diğer ürünlerin hepsi için geçerli bu. Normal düzende her disiplin kendi çalışmalarını yapıyor. Daha sonra bu çalışmalar bir araya getiriliyordu. Ancak artık sektör devriliyor. Eski düzende değiliz. Süreçlerimiz aynı değil, proje sürelerimiz oldukça kısalmaya başladı artık. Her şey o kadar hızlandı, yapım sistemleri o kadar karmaşıklaşmaya başladı ki artık çalışma sistemlerimizde de bir takım güncellemelere gitmemiz gerekiyor. Yazılımlardaki geliştirmeler de bunlara çözüm olmak adına yapılıyor aslında. ARCHICAD 24 de tam olarak bu konuya odaklanıyor. Tasarım sürecini bir bütün olarak görüyor ve bu sürece dahil olan herkesin mimar, mühendis, ekip olarak çalışabilmesine olanak sağlıyor. Neyi kastediyorum? Mimarlık ofisi özelinde düşünecek olursak, mimari tasarıma yönelik tüm araçlarımız ARCHICAD'in içerisinde var. Ek olarak birçoğumuz BIM Cloud ve takım çalışması özelliklerini kullanır durumda. Tek model üzerinden aynı anda aynı proje üzerinde ilerleyebiliyoruz. Dolayısıyla mimari proje özelinde ekip çalışması yapabilir durumdayız. ARCHICAD 24 ile birlikte bunu biraz daha ileriye taşıyoruz ve statik projeler için de bir takım çözümlerle geliyoruz. Artık ARCHICAD içerisinde analitik modelinizi üretebiliyorsunuz ve analizlerinizi yapmak için CIA Engineer gibi bu işin uzmanı yazılımlara modelinizi paylaşabiliyorsunuz. Ve bunların hepsini BIM Cloud üzerinden gerçekleştirebiliyorsunuz. Nasıl mimar olarak aynı model üzerinde çalışabiliyorsak, artık mimar mühendis olarak da aynı model üzerinde çalışabilir durumdayız. Finalde elde ettiğimiz şey ise haftalar süren işleri birkaç saate indirgemek oluyor aslında. Entegre çalışma, farklı disiplinlerin sisteme dahil olmasından bahsettik. Buna uygun ortamı yaratabilmek adına BIM Cloud artık farklı dosya formatlarına açılmış durumda. Yani BIM Cloud ile hem ARCHICAD üzerinde takım çalışması özelliğini aktif hale getirmiş oluyorsunuz, hem de projeye yönelik tüm verilerinizi, dosyalarınızı, belediyeden gelen arazi çizimleri olsun, sahadan gelen fotoğraflar olsun, farklı disiplinlerden gelen IFC, BCF, PDF, DVG ve birçoğu gibi özel dosya formatları olsun, hepsini tek bir platformda depolayabilir durumdayız. Kim hangi klasöre ulaşabilir, bir kullanıcı projede ne tür değişiklikler yapabilir gibi kısıtlamalar ya da yetki düzenlemelerine gidebilir durumdasınız. Bu da çok güzel bir özellik olacak tabii ki. Bir diğer başlığımız işbirliği ortamı. Kullandığımız sistemler gelişiyor, detaylanıyor. Modeldeki değişiklikleri basit bir şekilde takip edebilirken, örneğin karşı masamızda oturan arkadaşımıza seslenip bir duvarı neden değiştirdiğini sorabilirken artık farklı disiplinler ve farklı gereksinimler işin içine giriyor. İşte bu noktada bunlara özel araçlara ihtiyaç duyuyoruz. Ve ARCHICAD 24'te sorun yönetimi, değişim takibi, model karşılaştırma gibi yepyeni özelliklerle karşımıza çıkıyor. Bunlar videolarda detaylı bir şekilde anlatıldı aslında. Değişim takibi sayesinde örneğin statik projede kolon boyutları değiştiği anda ARCHICAD'de çalışırken size bildirim gelebiliyor. Bunun pratikliğini düşünsenize aslında. Normalde mimari projeyi yapalım, daha sonra statik taraf çalışsın, revizyon bulutları havada uçuşsun gibi bir düzen söz konusuyken artık değişiklikleri anlık bir şekilde takip edebilir durumdasınız. Ve sıkça ihtiyaç duyduğumuz şeyler, kolon boyutu neden büyüdü, biraz daha küçük olsa da mekanı daraltmasa ya da asma tavan mesafesi 60 santim değil de 80 santim olsa gibi iletişim ihtiyaçlarımızı artık mail gibi ya da WhatsApp gibi farklı ortamlarda ilerletmek yerine ARCHICAD'in içerisindeki sorun yönetimi özelliğiyle gerçekleştirebiliyorsunuz ve bunları birbirinize mesajlar olarak gönderebiliyorsunuz. Tabii bunlar çok güzel özellikler ve bu özellikler size sunuluyor ama süreçleri doğru kurgulamak önemli. Bu bazen karışıklıklara da neden olabilir. Örneğin tasarımınızla ilgili ana kararları henüz almamışken, yani mekanlar nasıl konumlanacak, birbirleriyle ilişkileri nasıl olacak gibi sorular henüz havadayken, inşaat mühendisinin konuya dahil olmasını çok istemeyiz bu aşamada. Dolayısıyla kimin ne zaman işin içine gireceği konusu yine size kalmış durumda ve bunu doğru kurgulamanızı tavsiye ediyorum. Bir diğer özellik model karşılaştırma. Modellerimiz çokça revizyona uğruyor ve farklı versiyonlar çıkıyor. Bu aşamada iki dosyayı alıp bu dosyalar arasındaki farkları görmeye ihtiyaç duyuyoruz. Bu aşamada model karşılaştırma özelliği sizleri destekliyor. Sadece iki revizyon arasındaki farkları karşılaştırmak olarak düşünmeyin. Farklı tasarım alternatifleriniz olabilir. Örneğin bir projeye ait 3 farklı tasarım alternatifiniz var diyelim. Bunların arasındaki farklılıklar neler? Neler eklenmiş, neler silinmiş? Gayet görsel bir arayüz içerisinde bunları da görebilir durumdasınız. Bu başlıkların haricinde yine birçok yenilikle geliyor ARCHICAD 24. ARCHICAD kütüphanesine yeni birçok GDL obje eklendi. Obje aracına girdiğinizde yepyeni masa, sandalye gibi birçok tefriş elemanı karşınıza çıkacak. Bununla beraber aynı zamanda daha önceden ücretli olarak alabildiğiniz map modeler eklentisi de ARCHICAD'in içerisine gömülü bir şekilde geliyor. Ek bir ücret ödemenize, ek bir kurulum yapmanıza gerek kalmıyor. Kütüphaneyi bağlamanız gerekiyor gibi bir takım hedefleri var. Videolarda gördüğünüz paramo eklentisi sayesinde GDL objeleri üretmek artık çok kolay. Çok daha görsel bir arayüz içerisinde ilerliyor. Önceden GDL objeleri üretirken kodlama sistemiyle yazarak ilerliyorduk. Artık oluşturduğumuz objeyi anlık bir şekilde ekranda görebilir durumdayız. Bu da parametrik tasarım sürecini çok pratik bir hale getiriyor. RVT ve RFA dosya formatlarının aktarılabilmesini sağlayan bir pluginimiz vardı hatırlarsanız. Artık bu ARCHICAD'in içerisine gömülü bir şekilde geliyor. Yani Revit modellerine referans amaçlı import, export etmek isterseniz eğer farklı bir eklentiye ihtiyaç duymadan direkt ARCHICAD'in içerisinde bu işlemleri gerçekleştirebiliyorsunuz. RFA formatını desteklemesinin de farklı avantajları oluyor. BIMObject gibi siteleri kullanıyorsanız eğer, sadece ARCHICAD için üretilmiş objelere bağlı değilsiniz. Dolayısıyla Revit için üretilmiş family'ler karşınıza çıkıyorsa ARCHICAD'e direkt alabilir durumdayız bunları. Bir diğer güzel özellik, özel geliştiricileri desteklemek amacıyla JSON ve Python eklentilerini kullanabilir durumdasınız. Kodlamalarınızı yapabiliyorsunuz ve yazılımın içerisindeki araçları kendinize göre özelleştirebiliyorsunuz. Bu da işi çok başka boyutlara taşıyor aslında. Ve son olarak BIMX'te her sene olduğu gibi çok ciddi yeniliklerle geliyor. Hem mobil hem masaüstü versiyonu güncellendi. Performans geliştirmeleri ve yepyeni özellikler eklenerek çok daha güçlü bir hale kavuştu. Geçen seneki lansmanımıza katılanlarınız varsa BIMX Lab adında bir üründen bahsedilmişti hatırlarsanız. Ve BIMX Lab'in içerisinde çok ciddi bir teknoloji olduğundan açılma süreleri olsun, çok büyük boyutlu ve çok poligonlu dosya boyutlarıyla çok rahat başa çıkabildiği üzerine konuşmuştuk hatırlarsanız. BIMX Lab teknolojisi direkt BIMX'in içine gömüldü artık. Dolayısıyla performans anlamında çok ciddi farklar hissedeceksiniz. Finalize edecek olursak, ana aracımız her ne kadar ARCHICAD olsa da BIMX, BIMCloud gibi destekleyici araçlarımız da mevcut. Ve bunların hepsini birlikte kullandığınızda aslında GRAPHISOFT çözümlerinin gücünü görüyorsunuz. GRAPHISOFT'ta her sene olduğu gibi tüm ürünleri için ciddi yenilikler yaptı bu versiyonla birlikte. Yenilikleri mutlaka denemenizi ve mevcut çalışma sisteminize mutlaka adapte etmenizi tavsiye ediyorum. Bunun sonrasında çok daha kaliteli ve çok daha hızlı proje ürettiğinizi siz de fark edeceksiniz. Benim anlatacaklarım bu kadar. Şimdilik sözü Hakan Bey'e bırakıyorum.
İmge çok teşekkürler. İmge'nin keyifli sunumu ile GRAPHISOFT ekibinin ARCHICAD 24 için eklediği yenilikleri ve farklı disiplinlerin beraberce çalışmasının çok daha akıcı bir şekilde mümkün olduğunu hep beraber hatırlamış olduk. Açıkçası yenilikler içinde her versiyonda hepimizin favori bir özelliği oluyor. 19'dan beri bu şekilde gidiyor. Benim 24'teki favorim parama oldu. Denedikçe hepinizin çok seveceğinden eminim. Şimdi GRAPHISOFT ekibinden bir misafirimiz daha var. Geçen 5 yıl içerisinde yaptığımız tüm lansmanlarda bizle beraber oldu ve sanıyorum 50'ye yakın bizzat ofislerini ziyaret etme şansımız oldu kullanıcılarımızı. 5 dakika kadar GRAPHISOFT teknik ekip pazarlama yöneticisi Tibor Solnaki ile beraber olacağız. Akabinde yine beraberiz.
Merhaba, hello everyone. I'm Tibor Solnaki, Senior Manager of Technical Marketing at GRAPHISOFT headquarters. And first of all, I would like to say a few words about how deeply I'm sorry that I couldn't be there with you at the product launch of ARCHICAD 24 in Turkey. In the past 5 years, I think I've been there at all the new ARCHICAD releases, and I collected many good memories with you, and I can call you many of you as my closest friends. So it's a pity that I cannot be there, but there are some good news as well. So this year is really special. We have made a great new ARCHICAD release, ARCHICAD 24, and also the entire product line of GRAPHISOFT has been renewed with many good features. So I would like to say a few words about how this can help you to run your business, to grow, and also to lead us to the future. So ARCHICAD 24 is on the market for 2 weeks now, and we call it this time a special event, the GRAPHISOFT Building Together conference, where not just the program was introduced, but all the corresponding help and training and demo materials have been shared. So I think now you have all the chance to learn about how great this new version is. But in just a few words, I would like to highlight some of the key points of ARCHICAD 24 and how it can help in your business. So first of all, we started a new journey which leads to a better coordination with other disciplines, with structural engineers and MEP engineers. Probably the highlight of ARCHICAD 24 is the new structural analysis model, which is integrated into ARCHICAD and which offers a much faster and a much more fluent collaboration workflow, especially in the early phase of the design with structural engineers. Another great news that MEP Modeler is now part of the package, so you can do MEP modeling and collision detection within ARCHICAD without the need for any additional software. But I know that many of you are running smaller architectural offices, and I believe that this year we also deliver some great solutions for you. One thing which remains for those who are on SSA is the connection Twinmotion and the availability of the new Twinmotion version for SSA users. This is a great opportunity for real-time rendering and much faster visualization for your client. Another thing which I think it's more about managing projects, because projects are getting more and more complex, is the ability to compare different model versions, manage model changes, and manage issues of the projects. You can learn about all these features on our YouTube channel, where we uploaded many videos, and also on the Graphisoft Help Center, where you can read nice articles which explains in layman terms what these features offer you. That was about ARCHICAD, but we shouldn't forget that BIMCLAD and BIMX is also part of this entire product portfolio, and there you can also experience yourself great new improvements, mainly about collaboration and coordination, how we can manage large projects or projects where many contributors are part of the team. So with all this said, I would like to say a few words about the future. So I really believe that sooner or later this situation will be over and we will be able to meet each other and see each other in person. But until then, feel free to contact BIMSOFT, your partner locally. They are great in offering you all the help that you need and all the support. And in case there are some special issues where you need additional help, Graphisoft in the background is always there with the entire community of developers, technical support people, and everyone. And also myself, I'm really happy to help you with any questions. So thank you for your attention. I hope you will enjoy ARCHICAD 24 and all the Graphisoft products, and see you soon, hopefully in Turkey or anywhere else in the world. Thank you and goodbye.
Igor'un keyifli anlatımının sonrası 5 dakikalık ikinci ve son aramıza geçiyoruz. Aradan sonra yine beraber olacağız ve çekilişe geçiyor olacağız. Tekrar merhaba. ARCHICAD 24 ile ilgili her şeyi ekibimle beraber sizlerle paylaşmaya çalıştık. Umarım beğendiniz. Şimdi programa göre aslında çekilişe gidiyor olmamız lazım. Ancak unutmadan bir şey daha var. Sizler için 1 dakikalık önemli bir haberimiz var. Son bir video seyredelim. Ondan sonra çekilişe doğru gidiyor olacağız. Evet, izlediğiniz üzere yeni bir döneme geçiyoruz. Sizlerle beraber 2015'te ARCHICAD 19'la beraber başladı. 17 Haziran 2015'te. Bugünden beri devam eden birlikteliğimizi güçlendirmek, hizmet kalitemizi arttırmak, sizler için ürettiğimiz değeri büyütmek adına BIMSOFT olarak yeni bir strateji belirledik. Bu strateji içerisinde satış ve teknik destek operasyonlarımızı videoda izlediğiniz üzere 23 yıllık tecrübesiyle Türkiye ana dağıtıcımız FG Mimarlık'ta sürdürme kararı aldık. Satış ve teknik destek ekibimiz 14 Ağustos 2020 yani yarın itibariyle sizlere FG Mimarlık ekibiyle beraber destek olmaya devam edecek. BIMSOFT, ARCHICAD'in ve GRAPHISOFT'un atadığı Türkiye Distribütörü olarak sorumlulukları ve son kullanıcılarında oluşturduğu hizmet kalitesinin iş ortakları üzerinden sürmesini istiyor. Dolayısıyla biz sorumluluklarımızı sürdürmeye devam edeceğiz. Bu bir veda değil. Sadece operasyonlarımızı artık iş ortaklarımız üzerinden daha aktif yöneteceğimiz bir döneme geçiyor olacağız. Yarın itibariyle lisanslı kullanıcılarımızın tamamı bu konuda detaylıca bilgi içeren bizden bir mail alacaklar. Şimdi çekilişimize geçelim isterseniz. İnge.
Merhabalar. Sizler için ödüllü bir yarışma düzenledik. 5 soruluk bir yarışma olacak ve kazananlardan birinciye Apple iPad Air, ikinciye SanDisk taşınabilir SSD ve üçüncüye JBL Bluetooth hoparlör verilecek. Yarışmaya mobil cihazlarınızdan veya bilgisayarlarınızdan katılabilirsiniz. Ekranda gördüğünüz QR kodu taratabilirsiniz ya da yine ekranda göreceğiniz bimsoft.com.tr/çekiliş adresine girerek dahil olabilirsiniz. Yarışma kurallarından bahsetmek istiyorum biraz. Karşınıza çıkan Your Name kısmına adınızı, soyadınızı eksiksiz ve doğru bir şekilde yazmanız gerekiyor. Her soru için bir doğru cevap var ve soruları cevaplarken doğru cevabı vermenin haricinde en hızlı cevabı verenler kazanacak. Her soru için belirlenen süre 1 dakika olacak ve yarışma süresince canlı yayın ekranında hiçbir şey görmeyeceksiniz. Mobil cihaz ya da bilgisayar nereden yarışmaya katılıyorsanız o ekranı takip etmeniz gerekiyor. Şimdi bir 5 dakika bekleyelim, katılımcılarımızı alalım. Sonrasında kuralları bir kez daha aktarıp yarışmaya başlayacağız.
Esra, link çalışmıyor.
Yavaş yavaş gelmeye başladı. Tekrar hatırlatmak istiyorum. Ad, soyad doğru bir şekilde adını yazmayanlar kabul edilmeyecek. Tam adını göremediğimiz, bu şekilde yazmayan kişiler varsa çıkış yapıp bir şekilde tekrar girsinler. Yoksa yarışma dışı kalacaklar. Aslında yayınımızı izleyen daha fazla kişi var. O yüzden katılmak isteyenler mutlaka dahil olabilir. Daha birkaç dakikamız daha var. ...91 katılımcıya ulaştı. Biraz daha bekleyelim isterseniz. Evet, kuralları tekrar paylaşmak istiyorum. Karşınıza çıkan Your Name kısmına adınızı, soyadınızı eksiksiz ve doğru bir şekilde yazmadıysanız yarışma dışı kalacaksınız. Her soru için bir doğru cevap olacak ve soruları cevaplarken doğru cevabı vermenin haricinde en hızlı cevabı verenler kazanacak. Hızı da hesaba katarak sürenizi ayarlayın lütfen. Her soru için belirlenen süre 1 dakika olacak. Yarışma süresince canlı yayın ekranında, yani şu anki ekranda, beni gördüğünüz ekranda bir şey görmeyeceksiniz. Mobil cihaz ya da bilgisayar, nereden yarışmaya katılıyorsanız o ekranı takip etmeniz gerekiyor. Eğer herkes hazırsa 1 dakika içinde yarışmamız başlıyor. Evet, sonuçlar açıklandı. Birinci İzmir'den bir kullanıcımız Burak Can Top. İkinci yine İzmir'den bir kullanıcımız Emre Şenoğlu. Üçüncü Abdüsamet Dağçan. Dördüncü Onurcan Albayrak ve beşinci İstanbul'dan bir kullanıcımız Turgay Yaz. Birinci, ikinci ve üçüncünün info@bimsoft.com.tr adresine iletişim bilgilerini, hediyeleri göndereceğimiz adres bilgilerini iletmesini rica edeceğiz. Eğer bu kişilerden herhangi bir yanıt alamazsak dördüncü ve beşinci ile ilerleyeceğiz. O yüzden dördüncü ve beşinci kişiler de yine paylaşımda bulunursa seviniriz. Tebrik ediyorum tekrardan.
Evet, hepinize tebrikler doğru yanıtlar için. Katılımınız için çok teşekkürler. Bugün beraberce ARCHICAD 24'ü tanımak için ilk adımları beraberce attık. Kısa süre içinde yeniden beraberce üzerine çok daha fazla konuşuyor olacağız. Aslında biliyorum bugün sorularınız var. Hatta önümüzdeki birkaç gün programı birazcık daha kurcaladıktan sonra yeni sorularımız olacak. Ancak hem sizleri bugün daha fazla yormamak hem de ARCHICAD 24'ü inceledikçe oluşacak sorularınız için sizlere birkaç gün daha vermek istedik. 19 Ağustos'ta YouTube üzerinde canlı yayında ekibimiz bir soru cevap günü yapacak sizin için. Bütün sorularınızı yanıtlıyor olacaklar. Bu yüzden sosyal medya ve web sitemiz üzerinden yapacağımız bilgilendirmeleri takip etmenizi, eğer içinizde hala Instagram, YouTube ve LinkedIn hesaplarımızı takip etmeyenler varsa takip etmelerini rica ediyorum. Bugünlük bizden bu kadar. Ekibim ve GRAPHISOFT adına hepinize katılımlarınız için teşekkür ediyorum. Son söz söylemek üzere. İlge.
Evet, Hakan Bey'in belirttiği gibi haftaya birlikte olacağız soru cevap kısmında. Ben olacağım, aynı zamanda birçoğunuzun tanıdığı Ender Aydın olacak soru cevap bölümümüzde. Sizlerden gelen soruları, merak ettiğiniz konuları cevaplamaya çalışacağız. Ona da mutlaka katılmanızı tavsiye ediyorum. Umarım faydalı bir yayın olmuştur. Bizim için çok keyifliydi. Sizin için de öyle geçmiştir umarım. Tekrardan katılımınız için çok teşekkürler.